Hello and welcome back to my crystal collection video. This is part 8. And yeah, if you haven't seen any of the other previous videos, parts 1 through 7, you should go check that out because this is just going to be a continuation. And when I speak on the crystals, I might not go into too much detail because I've already spoke about the composition and geology beforehand in those previous videos. So without further ado, let's just begin. Alright, to start off this video, I have my Cavansite with Grey Druzy specimen. And yes, this color is natural, not dyed. Cavansite will be expensive if you can find it, since it is rare. There's only 4 known localities that has produced Cavansite, those being Brazil, India, New Zealand, and the US. However, I think only India is still producing specimens at this point. And yes, this specific piece here comes from India, but I personally haven't seen much on the market. I know of only one seller based in Turkey that I've seen carry Cavansite, so definitely not easy to come by, but sure is pretty, and the color is just amazing. And they really just form in these sort of little puff balls of blue, not much bigger than this. They're all relatively the same size. This one's a little bit cut in half so you can see how the inside sort of structure looks, which I thought was kind of interesting. Up next is my Smoky Celestial Quartz Cluster specimen from Minas Gerais, Brazil. The reason it's called celestial is due to its etching. So crystals have different sort of outward etchings depending on where they're mined from and how they grew. Celestial etching kind of almost looks like the skeletal etching, except it's on the inside and kind of looks almost like a phantom. If you are unaware of what I mean by phantom, when I talk about phantoms in crystals, or when people talk about phantoms in crystals, it's due to the appearance of almost a crystal growing inside of another crystal, but it's not actually there. It's just this sort of ghost-like outline, and this is due to environmental changes in the effects that had on the crystal, such as temperature changes, mineral element changes, pressures, like pressure, and this causes the crystal to sort of stunt for a bit, and then as it regrows, it sort of leaves that change that is within that crystal in that time period when it was growing. And interesting enough, I don't actually have any crystals with phantoms in it at this moment. I do hope to get a piece sometime. It's just that when it comes to crystals, there's just so many different specimens and crystals and kinds that, yeah, there's just so much out there that when it comes to this hobby, you really have to pick and choose what you're gonna focus on saving up for and buying. But yeah, this is just a really interesting smoky quartz with celestial etching. And then I have my Volcano Agate Small Tower. Now, what makes this agate variation volcanic enough for it to be represented in the actual name is a complete mystery to me, since most agates are a product of the extrusives from volcanoes, so I have no clue. So why is this variety of agate deemed volcano? I mean, okay, so I do have a assumption. I assume it's marketing. It's a trade name. That I guess sounds cool because most agates are volcanic extrusives. That's how they are formed. But anyway, this variety is UV reactive, giving off a very neon toxic green color here when you use the UV. But alas, I still need to grab a mineral black light, and they tend to be extremely expensive because they need to be very particular in wavelength, as well as the filter, etc. So it can't just be just any old black light that you can find out there. It needs to be very particular. And when I say expensive, I mean pretty expensive. They range between At the lower end, 100, and then all the way to about 1,500. So, yeah, that's in US dollars. Remind you that I am Canadian, so it'll be like double that for me. Yeah, because you have to get it in from the US. In Canada, you can't even, they don't even have a product here for that. You have to get it from overseas. So, yeah. Anyways, even if I can't show you the changes that occur with the UV, I mean, I still like it. I like all this sort of dendritic spiderwebbing and this dark chalcedony, which you can kind of make out the different minerals at play within it, which I find kind of cool. But yeah. Now we move on next to my chrysocolla with malachite inclusions and pseudomorph druzy specimen. So you'll find a lot of chrysocolla alongside many secondary copper minerals such as malachite. It comes in this robin's egg and sky blue coloring, but also sometimes it can be more greenish blue as well. Most of the time they come in botryoidal form, sometimes glassy botryoidal masses and bubbly sort of crusts, as well as in vein fillings, which is the spaces between, the cracks of a rock. Any chrysocolla crystals, such as this druzy here, are pseudomorphs. So you may be thinking, what is a pseudomorph? Well, okay, pseudomorph comes about as a mineral formed by chemical or structural change of another substance. They have the shape and form of the initial mineral that is known as the protolith, but inside the composition has actually changed into a different mineral known as the neomorph. There's different types of pseudomorphs, such as substitution pseudomorphs, deposition pseudomorphs, alteration pseudomorphs, and those pseudomorphs can be broken down further in their respective categories. However, we'd be here all day if I go into all of that detail, so I'll just leave that as it is and keep going. So yeah, this piece here comes from the Congo. However, it is found almost everywhere, except I think Greenland. I don't think Greenland yet. And before I move on, I just want to point out this portion of malachite here, because doesn't it look just like kind of jellyish? It's as if there's melted gummy bears that's been stuck to the side of this thing. Like it's so jelly. Moving on to my blue aragonite medium tower. Aragonite comes colorless, which is essentially clear, white and gray, unless it has inclusions, which turns it blue, green, red, or violet. It's a polymorph of calcium carbonate that, with particular changes to its environment, will actually convert to calcite. Calcite being a more abundant and widespread polymorph of calcium carbonate, whereas aragonite comes in like second. This tower here, you can see the obvious matrix that's been carved alongside with it, which may turn some collectors off, but it's actually why I bought it. I just think it makes the piece look unique, almost aged like a relic with all these intermixed cavities. So yeah. The next piece I have here to show off to you is my blue smithsonite specimen. Its name is derived from the famous British chemist and mineralogist James Smithson, who made its discovery in 1803. Before that, it was believed that smithsonite was hemimorphite, which is a different crystal that is very similar in a lot of ways, but they are different mineral compounds. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with that name, James Smithson, he is the benefactor of the Smithsonian Institution of Washington, D.C. So obviously my specimen is blue, but smithsonite also comes in white, gray, yellow, green, pink, and purple. This vibrant blue here is some of the most vibrant I've ever seen, actually. And the way it shines, it just reminds me of the Caribbean Ocean, and the waves moving, which is, well, it's just neat. It is a soft crystal, landing only at a 4 to 4.5 on the Mohs scale hardness. This piece comes from the Congo, but smithsonite can be found in a wide, area, wide range of localities. Most well known are the US, Mexico, Australia, Namibia, and Greece. Alright, then I have my purple botryoidal chalcedony small tower. So basically this piece is basically similar to the grape chalcedony I've shown you previously, even though it's not actually an agate, so I don't, give that title. I've already discussed all this beforehand in previous videos. What makes this piece a little bit different, this tower, is that its matrix has also been carved alongside with the chalcedony, which I just found to be, a little different, and yeah, in that regard, so I thought I'd buy it, and I did. And that's everything. So, I'm hoping that people are still enjoying these. I know it's a lot. I have a lot of crystals, but we're almost at the end. We just got parts 8 to 10 left, so, and then I'll be doing actual unboxing videos because I've got some more crystals already in. So yeah, I'll be doing those afterwards. So yeah, I hope to see you then. Bye.